most of the times when we see each other, it's like crazy hectic. We're in the middle of a warehouse unloading clothes from the back of a truck and stuff. But I'm so thankful that we get to sit down. This is a beautiful coffee shop. Can you tell me about it? Like, how did this happen? How did you get this?
How did I get it? So the pastor of this church, Brent Wernsing, was doing his pastoral duties in an elementary school. That's where their church started. And I was praying and fasting for a board member or board members, and the Lord led me to him. And so I started watching his sermons online, reached out to him, and just asked him, I said, I know this is going to sound crazy, but would you be interested in becoming a board member? This is what we do. And he said, absolutely, we should have dinner. So the first time us really meeting in person, my husband, him and his wife, over some pizza at his house, talked about what it meant to become on as a board member and be a part of our ministry. And towards the end of the conversation, he said, you know, it'd be really awesome. And he's a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. So we love to just sit back and talk about things. And he said, if we had a coffee house, like a place where foster parents could go and they could, you know, just, it's all about community and coming together and bringing awareness to the need and doing it around coffee. I love coffee. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I didn't think that would be something that would actually happen, you know, because we have clothing shops. It's not like a coffee.
Right.
So through the pandemic, the opportunity presented itself for them to move into this space off Cypress Gardens Boulevard. And when you walk in, you have this space. And so when they got this property, he is a graphics designer by trade. And so,
very good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he emailed me this image of the floor plan and the entire coffee house set up. And the logo on the door, all of the graphics
Wow.
done. And he was like, we have a coffee house.
That's
and
awesome.
I thought, did you just build this? And he was like, no, but we will. And
Vision.
I wish I remember how fast it happened, because it did happen rather quickly. And they even built out the bathroom that was not here and created all of this. It was just incredible.
It's amazing.
Branded it.
How long has it been open for?
It's only been open for about 4 months.
4 months.
About 4 or 5 months, yeah.
And the proceeds go all to Echo, or they go?
A percentage of the proceeds go to us.
Okay.
And then the rest helps to sustain the church and then all the programs and stuff that they have here. But they're also opening an Echo shop here.
Oh, on this property?
On this property, which
Wow.
is upstairs, which will be our largest shop. And their church partnered with us a while back, and we have members of their church who are involved in our ministry on multiple levels, and they're just sold out for what God's doing through Echo. And they also, foster care is ingrained within their church. Brent and Christine, the pastors, are foster parents.
Oh, okay.
They have adopted children, so they have a full house, and they're just amazing. So.
Yeah, I understand completely. Parkway loves Echo as well. I
Yeah.
mean, as soon as we heard about the ministry, I mean, how many people do we have from Parkway that help you now since we heard about you?
5 so far.
5 so far.
That are fully involved.
And what have they done with Echo? In case somebody at Parkway wants to get involved, what do they do?
So we grew our leadership team. We doubled in size, our leadership team, with Teresa Wilson and Becky Halbisma. And then we have Scott and Lisa Boyd, who have come on to partner with us for our Beds for Kids initiative, which we're very excited about. Yeah,
Beds for Kids.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a very big deal.
I remember you mentioning that when you came to our church a couple of years ago, you were saying that you needed like twin-sized beds. I remember you saying something about a foster child will come into a home and they have no place to sleep. They have to sleep on the couch or the ground on the carpet, and it's really something that people kind of forget about, that they need to make beds. So Echo, you're trying to have like a whole division, right, that makes
Correct.
beds.
So in foster care specifically, a child cannot be placed in a home if there's not a bed for that child.
Okay.
And there has to be ample amount of space.
That makes
too.
sense.
It goes by square feet. So if you have 2 girls coming in, they can obviously stay in the same room. If it's a boy and a girl, they have to have 2 separate rooms. And so this can be an issue for the sibling group if it's a large sibling group, if they don't have beds that fit that sibling group in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes the sibling group will be separated into different homes, which causes more trauma. And most of the time, it's not the trauma being removed from the parent that is so terrible for the kids. It's actually the siblings being separated, because when they're in an abusive situation or they're being, what's the word? Like not cared for properly,
Right.
they will bond together as siblings and they'll take care of each other. So the separation of themselves, that's really where it causes the trauma, correct?
Yeah, that's got to be hard.
So what we're trying to do and what we're hoping is going to happen, what God's telling us is going to happen through Beds for Kids, is that we'll be able to provide bunk beds that are twin over twin, that can be separated and used in the home however they need, that keeps sibling groups together. That is the number one request that we get that is the most difficult to fill, because they are very expensive. And so we came up with the initiative a couple years back, and it really took in our home church, and then everything kind of halted. And so we put everything in storage and waited, and we went further with creating the liability contracts and wrapping up the entire initiative. And then it just was on pause.
Yeah.
And we kept doing our thing. And that's when we came to speak at your church. And that's when we were connected with Scott and Lisa.
I've been to your warehouse. Okay. I just heard you say that your staff has doubled, right? Like you've had a lot of...
Our leadership.
Leadership
yes.
has doubled. But I've been to your warehouse, and there's not a lot of room. So, like, and you're talking about building beds. Where is this going to happen? Like, if you don't have all that space, do you have a plan for that? Or, like, do you know where we would go with that?
So, no, there isn't a lot of space. So we have 2,000 square feet right now.
Right.
And that houses all of our clothing and shoes and stuff like that. And so there is no space to build beds. And so we can't move forward on building them until we have adequate space.
Right.
So that's what we're currently looking for.
Okay.
There's the market right now is a little crazy, and so space is limited. There's a lot of people moving into the Polk County area, and so warehouse space is also limited. So there's not a lot of opportunity for businesses to be generous in giving space or coming off of the rent.
Right.
So what we're hoping for and what we're looking for is missions partners in the church community and in our community, small businesses that would help us just to financially be able to afford to go into purchasing a warehouse.
To team up with you and say, hey, we'll take a section or a part of that. And yeah, that's a really smart idea. As far as the beds, is that going to be something that like is going to be a part of Echo moving forward? It's a big part.
This is going to be, so the Beds for Kids, I think, is going to be a very, very big deal. I think in and of itself is going to be a very big deal. Yes. Once the community is aware that there's an organization that is providing beds for kids in foster care, I don't know that this is done anywhere. I know that there are other organizations that offer beds to kids in the community, but not specifically for this purpose. And this is a very, very big deal for the foster care community, relative, non-relative caregivers who are taking in family members that live on Social Security and that can't afford these things. This is a huge offset in cost and just enables them to focus on the child and not trying to scramble to get what they need to bring them in.
And Echo's footprint is widening, right? I mean, how many shops have you opened in the last 2 years since we've talked?
So, really, once COVID hit, it was really when there was this push to have more opportunity. Not push to have opportunity, but there was more opportunity for us to grow. And so we will be opening a shop the first weekend of October in Avon Park, and then here in Winter Haven at this church, hopefully by the end of October.
Really?
Yes.
So how many total would that be at the end of October?
That would be 5.
5 shops?
Yes.
Wow. And this all started...
It would be 4.
4 shops.
It would be 4. Sorry.
You're a dreamer. That's okay.
Well, we recently partnered with Heartland, and there's a shop in there, so I'm thinking that.
There
but
will
it was
be.
4. I'm sorry.
There will be 5 eventually.
There will be 5 eventually. Yes.
Probably at the beginning of
Correct.
next year, there'll be 5.
Yes.
Somewhere. So 5 shops, and they're spread out all over. You're going to be able to get beds to all of those areas.
That's the goal.
Correct, right? Like, so it's not going to be just a Lakeland thing. It's going to be all over Central Florida.
It's Polk Highlands and Hardy County right now.
Right now.
Just right now.
But you're a dreamer.
I'm like wherever God takes us.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And you can't grow unless we do our part in helping. So how can we as just Parkway, how can we help Echo? And I'm talking about like hands-on, what can we do to partner with you? I know you mentioned some of the people that are at Parkway already that are helping. Do you need more volunteers?
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
like sorting clothes, picking
Yes.
up clothes, stuff like that. I know you mentioned Scott and Lisa with the beds. We're gonna need more men, right, with
Right,
tools,
right.
not just Scott. He can't do it all on his own. So we're gonna need more men to volunteer. So that's awesome, because I know that there are some people that say, hey, I don't want to preach. I can't preach, or I don't want to lead a Sunday school lesson or something, but they're like, I can build a bed. Yeah, I can pick up a drill. So that's awesome that we're able to help that way. So how can we pray for Echo? What do we need to pray for with Echo right now?
Specifically, just wisdom as we grow, making sure that we're building teams with God's wisdom, knowing that we're put in the right positions, the people in the right positions with the right gifts and the right talents, and for Him to give us the tools that we need so that we can do a really, really good job. All of this is volunteer-based. We've been doing it for 10 years, starting in our garages, and we'd love to be able to do this full time. I'd love to be able to pay our directors full time.
Right.
This is our Auburndale shop alone is open every single day of the week.
Wow.
And that is run by a wonderful foster adoptive mother who has multiple children, who shows up every single week to do that. So volunteers at her shop would be much appreciated. And I always encourage families, if they want to serve together on shopping days with the families, bring your kids. My kids have been doing this with me since they can remember, and it just fosters in them a heart of service and love and compassion for other people. Also, the kids that come in that are in care, they've seen lots of adults, and they would rather play with kids when they're there.
Yeah.
And so that is just a great ministry for your kids. It's a great ministry for
That's true.
the family as a whole. So Auburndale is in need of them for sure.
Okay.
Warehouse. That's where we sort the clothing. You guys had your youth there not too long ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were incredible.
They came out and helped you sort and stuff. And
great work ethic. The kids were awesome. The adults that came with them, I so enjoyed them. They fixed some things there that we needed some help fixing. They helped deliver and drop off donations, which was awesome.
So you want them to come back?
Sorted. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Women's groups. We love having different groups of people come out and do work days at the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time to come together and just talk and just brag on the Lord and serve at the same time. And then deliveries and drop-offs. So we have a truck and a trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and we pick up from Once Upon a Child, which is a resale shop on the north side of Lakeland, every single week. And so currently my husband and I do that. And so that would be a huge relief if there was anybody that was like, I can drive a truck.
I remember you had a group that was doing it, and
yes.
they said, hey, we want to take a year and help Echo.
Yes.
And they did it, and it was great because every Saturday they had 2 men that they'd go do it. So you're looking for someone like that
yes.
can say, hey, I'll take your truck and go pick up the stuff on Saturday morning and bring it back.
It was a very creative way that they did that. So they had a men's group, and they would just sign up, and 2 men out of the men's group, they would just take turns. Mm-hmm. So it was like once a month or once every 2 months, a particular man would come in and they would do the pickup
And your
together.
warehouse is right by the Lakeland Airport.
That's correct.
And so you have a truck already. Mm-hmm. All they'd have to do is drive to the location, pick up the truck.
Correct.
Go up to the north side, get the stuff, bring it back, and unload it. That's it.
Yes, and have a good driving record.
Oh, and have a... Okay, well, so Parkway is
pass
out.
the test.
No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. So,
or if they have a truck of their own, they wouldn't even have to pick
true,
up.
Yeah.
They could just it's just children's items. They're bagged, and they're all bagged up and everything. We just
and they don't have to worry about sorting it or anything. They just drop it right in the front.
Bring it right to the warehouse, and they put it right into the bin, and then shut the door behind them.
So I hear all this stuff going on with Echo, and I see you, and I talked to you multiple times, and it's like you have a lot on your plate. You're doing a lot, and it's amazing. But this is a ministry, and I know personally that you started this from your garage, right? Like this was from a dream. You're a dreamer. How can we pray? How can Parkway pray for the leader of Echo? How can we pray for you and your family? Like what are your needs?
Well, we would love to do this full time. My husband
Right.
and I, that's really a dream that we have. And I think just being able to do that, financially being able to do that, I know that I've seen God do some tremendous things since starting. I never thought there would be a coffee house with our name on it, or shops, or a home being donated to Highlands County, which we're working on right now for another project. That was just never in the scope of things. And so, just being able to see it grow to this magnitude so far, I can only imagine if my husband and I could fully focus on this
Right.
ministry and build out shops. I would love for wherever there is a local licensing agency where families get licensed to foster, there's always an Echo.
Mhm.
There's always a place those families can go to get all the things they need to prepare themselves for those children. Or if there are relatives that take in children, there's always a place they can go to get the things that they need to offset the cost across the U.S. And so if me and my husband could focus on that,
Right.
that would be great. Even our whole family, my son and my daughter, just being able to do the ministry, sharing the gospel, sharing what God is doing in the lives of caregivers and other people that are involved, I think it would do amazing things.
If you and God have done all of this that we've seen and looked at and talked about without you being full-time, I can't imagine where it's going to go when you have the funding behind it to get you to stay right with Echo all the time. It's amazing. I'm so glad that we got to have this chat. I'm so glad that Parkway's going to continue to partner with Echo, and hopefully we can give more and give more people and more volunteering. So thank you so much for taking the time to come over and see this beautiful coffee shop, and now you can make me some coffee.